Hi, everyone. We are here with Nilam. She is the owner of Inspire Wellness, and she does corporate wellness as well as the workshops. So tell us a little bit more about what is the company about.
Thank you so much, Petra. It's such a pleasure to be here. So honestly, the way in which the business has evolved has been so organic. I used to be an investment banker, and being in having lived in London and Hong Kong and in these high pressure, high stress environments, I started to see there's a misalignment in myself, which resulted into a burnout. Exhausted all the time, doesn't matter how much I slept or didn't sleep, how much I ate or didn't eat. It was the real impact of the stress that was affecting my body, my mood, my digestion, my sense of connection with myself. And so that's really when I started to explore wellness in more of a holistic manner rather than just popping a pill to keep going and, muting that pain. I wanted to really get to the root cause of it. And so ironically, I'm back at the banks and back at these high pressure scenarios to help people learn these mechanisms for wellness so that they don't have to experience what I experienced, but instead can take away the lessons that I learned.
And what do you think is the biggest, I'll not call it a problem, let's say challenge that you see that people in high pressure situations and in business deal with?
So, I think the value of something is heightened once it's lost, right? So only once our health is compromised do we realize how important our health is. Only once we're unable to emotionally regulate and seeing our relationships suffer is then when we realize the importance of peace of mind and community and connection. So I think, being able to really speak to those future ready, success-driven leaders where they're not addressing the problem, but they're taking a preventative aspect and a preventative approach to what's happening, because the world is changing so quickly, and before you know it, we're always trying to keep up, but the pace of life becomes so high and so fast that we don't want to be lagging behind in that way.
Okay. Then another question. What do you think it's the most important for you part of the, let's say, wellness when it comes to work? And do you think that people just don't see it as importance to kind of balance their family life with their work, and where you think that the influence is the most?
That's a great question. And when people think wellness, they generally think
Spa?
yeah, a massage, a tick in the box, a nice fun perk.
Which is a part, but not...
Yes,
Yeah.
but what we're trying to do is create a more systematic approach to well-being. So when the employees have their well-being addressed, they're more energetic. They're more able to feel a sense of togetherness when it comes to collaboration on projects. They're not trying to steal credit or be in that survival mentality that often comes with stress. So, being able to connect the dots from well-being to performance, that's the heart of it. That's the heart of our programs, where we make sure that it's not just a nice to have. It's not just that, I'm doing a good deed by offering these high morale boosters into my workplace, but I'm really helping to systematically lower the stress, the stress impact in the workplace, increase the resilience, and thereby people I keep saying, the work is not a sprint, it's a marathon. The way you train for a sprint versus the way you train for a marathon are very different. So the heart of it is sustainability. Okay, we can pull these all-nighters for 1 week, but at the end of 1 year, that's it. There's nothing left to give. So these employee well-being programs is that we keep understanding the importance of refilling the cup so we can keep showing up year after year in that enthusiasm and in that collaboration.
Do you think there is a difference between men and women in business and stress in a business? I think there is one research, and it says that over 85% of women have autoimmune disease related to stress. I think maybe because of the family life and mother guilt.
Yeah,
do you think they handle it differently?
Absolutely. I think women by nature are also the center of community, whether that community is your team, whether that community is your family, whether that community is even the social planning generally falls on the woman, right? So, there's a lot to balance. And I would say that, what I've seen with my leadership coaching is that men are quite good about compartmentalizing. So when they're in a certain environment, they can compartmentalize and shift gears and be in work mode and then be in dad mode when they're at home. Women have much more of a blended approach. At work, they might be thinking of the kids. When they're at home, after dinner, they're still thinking about what happened at work. So it's a little bit more emotional and in terms of the psychology. So that's definitely what we talk about around how to create those boundaries that are bringing in that psychological safety at work. But also, if you see the outliers, men are 90% more susceptible to suicide than women. So yes, women maybe are harnessing a lot of that day-to-day pressure, but men are in that, often fall in that extreme zone because they don't vocalize. With a girlfriend, I can go have a coffee and I can vent and I can...
Caveman.
And I can say, this is what's happened. I'm feeling vulnerable. I'm feeling like I'm just not doing well. And I can get it off my chest. Men don't have that much of an outlet, which is why these stress reduction methodologies are so important, to allow them a tool that empowers them to A, gauge, notice that I'm stressed, and then B, take some agency and do something about it around moderating that stress response.
So what would, for experience, would be the best tool for men to kind of deal with this situation?
So I think everything starts with awareness. When we're aware, we can then select what is best for us. But a lot of the time, we put blinders on ourselves because it's easier to just keep going than to notice in ourselves what's happening, right? I'm sure you see this all the time with nutrition and with food. If I'm aware of how this sugar is impacting me, then I'm more likely to switch my decision set. But if I don't know the inflammatory, cognitive effect, gut health issues that are stemming from this sugar intake, then I wouldn't choose otherwise, right? So I just being able to see how we connect the physiology with the psychology. So I would say coming back to the body and seeing the signals in, is there a slight heart palpitation? Is there a heaviness before you start your day? Is there fitful sleep? Do you notice that your appetite is fluctuating? Just even noticing the body gives you a lot of insight to what's happening in the mind, because they're honestly two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, people usually go to deal with one, let's say, focus deficit, and they just take it as one problem, but it's actually body is interconnected 100%. And everything is, communicating with each other. So you cannot really isolate one thing. And
Absolutely. And I think in that sense, the frenetic lifestyle, we want to isolate. We want to just say, okay, give me the paracetamol because I have a headache. And
a quick
that's,
fix.
yeah, that's what I'm just going to go for. But really taking a moment to understand, am I dehydrated? Have I slept well? You know, that's in Harvard Medical School, that's what we were trained, this integrative approach to seeing how our lifestyle is medicine, you know, seeing how our lifestyle can impact how we feel based on, you know, our habits and that habit formation.
Do you think there is a little bit too much stress and how would I say? Wait, I got lost in how you say it. Yeah. Do you think there is a little bit too much stress and pressure on today's kids in school without actually giving them the right lifestyle choices while they are in the school? Because they spend so much time. I mean, they spend more time in school than they spend at home, and somehow everybody is expecting from them to perform, but they don't really have the environment or the right tools to do so. And then they face, you know, difficulties in learning, and they feel bad about themselves, but actually could be supported a little bit better.
Yeah, that's such a critical point, you know. I'm a mother of two, and this is definitely something that's such a passion of mine. And in fact, you know, here in Dubai, I've been asked to come in to do masterclasses on lifestyle medicine in schools because they are seeing the implications of stress when it comes to learning. They are seeing the implications of stress when it comes to socialization, you know, feeling a sense of connectedness versus isolation, even though they're in a class of 20, 30 other students. And that just, I think, starts again with awareness, with that right education, because there is a gap in the curriculum. You know, how many of us were really taught how to schedule our life to optimize our brain functioning? And yet this is such important knowledge because they're learning all the time. So sleep is so important. Being able to also create boundaries around screen time, right nutrition. So the more we engender the new generation with that awareness, with that knowledge from an earlier age, the better choices they will make. And I think, you know, as they become consumers in the marketplace, the more attention and accountabilities producers have to ensure that what they're manufacturing is in fact healthy.
And like, if you would have like tips and tricks of how to organize your day, busy schedule with work, and how to manage your stress throughout the day, what would that be for a woman?
For a woman, so I would say something as simple as just get a basic alarm clock. Because the thing is, most of us have our alarms on our phones. And the moment we wake up to switch off our alarm, we're already feeling like we're 10 steps behind in our day because we have 80 notifications, we have messages unread, we have emails to respond to. So we've lost our sense of empowerment of how we're going to choose to start our day. We're already in that reactionary mode. So I would say, you know, carve out, even if it's a 30-minute routine for yourself, for your self-care before your day begins and you start firefighting all the other things that you've got to do. And that can mean, you know, a moment of mindfulness can mean so many different things for so many different people. Whether it's just a quiet cup of tea, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's yoga, whether it's meditation, whether it's going for a run, do what feels right for you today. You were saying you didn't sleep very well this morning. So waking up and allowing yourself 20 minutes of just rest, conscious rest before you deal with the kids, before you deal with work, before you deal with all your emails, will put you in a much better stead than, using that willpower that a lot of women say, I just need to be disciplined and I just need to do it. I need to go and lift my weights today, or I need to go running today, because you're again losing touch with what you need. And that starts with awareness. That starts with mindfulness. If you just need to pause, have that self-care, have that enough compassion with yourself to allow that pause.
So start with yourself and be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
And to others.
Absolutely. Definitely. I mean, if we don't demonstrate self-love or compassion with ourselves, how are we going to make the best choices that's, the most productive for ourselves? And as mothers, as caregivers, as nurturers, we also want to extend that compassion to those we're looking after.
So, Right2Know came actually as a personal frustration because it's even more frustrating for me that it is in the wellness field to see that, the kids are not following some kind of these are basic rules. And that is because the environment around them is just not supporting this kind of, let's say, thinking, right? So it's difficult to just listen to one person, and it will be much easier if the environment is supporting and going into the right direction. So I was a little bit frustrated, and I was thinking, what can we do? What can we do to kind of change? So that's how Right2Know started, because you have right to know what is in your plate, what is in your environment, what is around you. And I see this people celebrating with wrong things all the time, and they calling it celebration. People celebrate with sugar, with alcohol, and no, it's just okay. Let's give them just a little bit. And they're just, encouraging this kind of behavior and making it feel right that this is how you should do when you celebrate things. Why you need to just put your face in a whole cake, why you need to go to these extremes, right? Because even in schools, on any kind of occasion, the first thing they do is some kind of a bake sale that is just flooded with sugar, with Dunkin' Donuts, and with stuff like that. Dubai, mashallah, has such amazing people who have amazing foods, like homegrown little companies that like the sweets and everything. Like, really, why would you want to go into this other direction? So that's how it all started. And we are really educating parents and kids on importance of nutrition, movement, and mindfulness. So this is the 3 pillars that really go together, because one without another is always imbalance.
And how have you seen the reactions from parents? Have there been any big aha moments when they come to a Right2Know seminar and they're learning a little bit about what they've been feeding their children?
People like the concept because there is a big gap. There is a big gap between, wellness happening everywhere and people doing all of this biohacking things and red lights and no strips and all of that, which is great. And I do that too. I love it. But that's just an extra. Like you cannot start with that while your roots are just rotted, right? So you need to start with basics, with understanding what is and what isn't. Like kids would come and say, give me bread. Bread is carb. It will give me energy. Where did I hear it? I hear it in school. It's just, first of all, it's not true. So it's like such a misinformation. And I think because they spend so much time there, there should be also focus on nutrition, which is the most important thing in your life, because you can know ABC as much as you want. But when you have a health problem, then none of this matters, right? And the statistics are not really, really good because, I don't know, so many kids are obese, so many kids have diabetes, have focus deficit, and most of these things are preventive with lifestyle changes. So,
Do you feel that the parents are willing to adapt their own eating choices to model for the family?
So this is, walk your talk
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And I think it's easier when it's something you care about, and a little bit more difficult when it's something, I need to now change my food, and I love the chocolate and I love that. But you cannot expect the kids to follow if you say
Exactly.
you eat your grass-fed steak and salad and you just munch on a Doritos
Yeah.
next to them. It's not what you say; it's just what you do, and you don't have to be perfect. It's nothing. I mean, nobody's perfect. Everybody does a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but even that you can choose. It doesn't. You have to show it little by little every day, because it's not let's just do it on Friday, let's just do it on Saturday. It's like this everyday little changes that will create a habit. This is what I do. And then when they grow up being their own parents, being their own person, when they go to the supermarket, it will come to them naturally, because it's going to be a blueprint in their mind that I'm not going to buy, I don't know, these chips. I'm going to buy something else, because that's what they know. If you don't show them, how will they know, right? But if you keep on feeding them different things, buying this kind of stuff, hiding it around the fridge and expecting them to look away, it's simply not going to happen. So, we have to model what we say.
So the habit formation starts with the parents, and that's modeled into the family life and to children.
Yeah.
How do you find, children who have been brought up with healthy eating and some good awareness around food and nutrition? How do they navigate those social interactions where all their other friends are eating sugar or ultra processed foods, in terms of trying to feel like a connection with their friends, and yet how do they find allowing themselves to be grounded with their own values?
Yeah, I think this is a difficult one.
Yeah.
This is a difficult one, because of course you're always gonna want to try, right?
Right.
Especially if your friends are eating it.
Exactly.
But if you repeat it enough, it will stay at the back of the head, right? So even if you have a little bit, this little voice is going to be there. It's going to be there. They're going to know. And there are also, the taste buds are different. So the first time, I think I tried Doritos, I think 24, I remember a friend of mine, we were looking at this chips, and she was like, what are we going to have? And I'm like, I don't know. And I remember this. She's like, do you want to have Doritos? And I'm like, what? She's like, you don't know Doritos? I'm like, no. And I remember the first time I put that thing in my mouth, it tasted like metal, like chemical, because this is what it is. I didn't like it because my body didn't recognize it. So they will try, and it's okay. I mean, of course you will try. You're not coming here without that. You will try many things, but you will know that this is not the right way. And your taste buds is going to tell you, this is MSG, this is not what I really want.
Amazing. So, I mean, that was 24 years of clean eating for you to have the subtlety in your taste buds. For someone who's, eating a diet that has a lot of ultra processed foods in it, how long do you think they need to go clean before they can find that homeostasis in their bodies and find that balance where their palate becomes more subtle for these chemicals?
So, people think that it takes so long for your gut microbiome to change, and you're going to need to do this, you need to do that. In terms of habit, yes, you need that repetition, because the learning is a matter of repetition. You need to repeat. But it takes only 3 days for you to change the state of your little friends in the belly.
Nice.
So even if you start with 3 days, you don't have to go water fast. But if you go you shorten your eating window, and in that eating window, you introduce proper food, you introduce things that your microbiome loves, you're going to get all of this diversity. And then, of course, because gut and brain are connected, you also have you're going to have a understanding that, oh, I feel better. This is working. And that's going to give you a push to continue. So only 3 days, you will see the difference.
That's remarkable. I thought you'd be saying like 3 months. So that's great. Because I read that it's the bacteria in our gut that is responsible for most of our cravings.
Yeah,
right?
It's not just the cravings, it's your behavior as well. So it all comes down to microbiome. People think, it's my genes that I'm lazy. It's my genes that I'm this, I'm that. It turns out it's only 5%. Everything else is your microbiome, which is great if you can use it for yourself.
Yeah, there's a lot of room to change then, right?
Room to change, yeah. And this is what the problem is, because so many kids, young adults, they have intestinal dysbiosis at such a young age. And of course, macro and micronutrient deficiency, and it impacts the way they think, the way they process their day. They're dehydrated. They don't eat proper food. They cannot think. And then, you think they have focus deficit or whatever, but the truth is they have a mineral deficit.
Right.
So I'm not saying every case is the same, but so many things can be preventive with these changes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think even if in 3 days, the bacteria isn't calling for the sugar in the same way, it's reinforcing, right? And it gets easier and easier to eat in accordance to, healthier, cleaner, more wholesome diets.
Yeah. And the thing is that, the food is very, very emotional. And, we all come from different parts of the world, and it's very traditional as well. So you don't want to take away that comfort, and you don't want to take away that tradition, but you want to be mindful that, you live where you live. Your life is now the way it is. You cannot say, my grandmother, how they used to live 30 years ago. 30 years ago was 30 years ago. It's like in this period of time, world changed.
Right, yes.
So, the soils change, everything changed. So you have to understand where you are and just try to do what's the best for now.
So in terms of, if somebody was interested to just start on a level of change, are there 3 top substitutes you would introduce in their pantry?
Substitutes, yes. So I always start with the sugar one. So sugar, I would do allulose instead of the sugar, or you can do jaggery. Monk fruit, I'm not really a fan because
aftertaste.
It's a little bit of an aftertaste, so that's a no-no for me. But definitely allulose and jaggery you can use. You can even like smash a banana, for example. If you're going to do a pancake, also the flour, the choice of the flour, right? So not every flour is the same.
Yes.
You need to understand what kind of flour are you buying. Right. So you can go for millet flour. You can add a little bit of psyllium husk. It will expand. You already have a little bit of fiber there. You want to make it sweet? Smash a banana, get an egg. Great, you know?
Yeah.
So these small little changes, that's for the sugar. Then introduce good fats, go for the grass-fed butter. This is really good. Omegas, olive oil, my favorite. I love olive oil.
Amazing.
And just go for the whole foods. You know what you are eating. So not something that came in package and it's now this is what I'm eating, but it was something before and I don't even know. It's a chicken with a little bit of... Ditch the sauces, the salads, when people order a salad, this massive amount of salad that comes with the dressing. It's like 800 calories, and you don't even, and you're still hungry because you didn't eat anything. You ate this God knows what. So you need to know what you're eating, like clean, create food. You can have like 5 ingredients and create 5 different dishes with the same ingredients. The way you cook the food. So you're going to cook it this way, you're going to steam it, you're going to mix this, you're going to mix that. You have like 5 different dishes with the same ingredients. So it's just to be mindful to eat clean and whole food.
Yeah. I think once you start and then you add some creativity, it could be a fun family exercise too.
It is.
Right?
And the kids love to bake and make, and
bringing the children into the kitchen and having them see how the food is prepared so they have more respect for what they're eating.
True.
So what's your take on supplementation?
I love supplementation. I love supplements. I work with supplements and I think they can be so beneficial. But supplements you cannot supplement a bad diet, you know, and I'm experimental. I go and I take, so I know most of them out there, and it's not all of them are the same as well. So you need to know which supplement are you taking and why are you taking the supplements.
Right.
Why are you taking it? Is it just to take it, or there is a reason for you to take it? So there are some of the things that are, for example, like my everyday. But you can test. You can test through blood tests. You can test through bioresonance. You can see what are you deficient in and supplement with this kind of stuff. 2 that I really, really love, and I give to my kids, and now they actually became fan of it, is chlorella and spirulina. So they chew it, which is like all green mouth, you know. Like they
I have to mix it in a smoothie before mine will take it.
But somehow they kind of
they've taken to it.
Yeah. So they eat spirulina and chlorella every day, and this is such a powerful. I mean, you can call it a superfood. It's not algae; it's a protein. It's but also source is very important.
Absolutely. And what you kind of touched on feeding windows. Is this something that you would recommend for children as well?
So I think, yes. I think it's very important not to munch all the time. I think this is the biggest problem of today's society is a snacking. Is always a snack. Snack here, snack there. You're constantly putting so much stress on your digestive system. Of course, you're going to have dysbiosis. You don't give it a rest. It's a snack. So the snack became food, and food became something that you do kind of like when you have the time. It's not, your body's not supposed to do like that. So you have to eat when you're hungry, and then snack. Like snack is when you don't have opportunity to have that whole meal, then you have a snack.
Right.
But today, everything is about the snack.
Yeah.
Everything is about the snack.
Definitely.
And this is...
I definitely see that even in my practice, you know.
Right?
It's that instant gratification. So
I
they
mean,
want
I
a
do
quick
it.
fix. They want, whether it's their phone, whether it's a chocolate, whether it's, going down and having a break. It's just that
snack.
Yeah. And coming back to, taking that time to rest and digest. And that's such an integral part of the body's optimal functioning, right?
But, also how the day is structured with the kids. I'm not saying the kids should intermediate fast for 18 hours. What I'm saying is that you cannot take 24 hours to eat because you're not even hungry. But the way the day is structured, sometimes it's difficult with the traffic, with the school and the activities and this and that. And then they fall into this hole of eating in the car or,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
difficult, but it's manageable.
Yeah.
So it's something to really, really think about. Like even for adults, I find myself this snacking even if it's on a nut, in the nuts. But what that means, it means that you're constantly feeding yourself.
Yeah.
For what reason are you even thinking about it? You don't even have time to think that are you full? Because you are, doing it not consciously.
Yeah. it's that fragmentation between the mind and the body, right? And
Yeah.
so we're eating because we're bored, because we're frustrated, because we're stressed,
Because it's
we're
there.
tired, not because the body is calling for it, the mind is calling for it.
And it's 24 hours buffet, you see.
Yeah, it's available all the time.
It's available all the time.
Yeah.
It's the stocking of the fridge of the things that you don't need. Like, where is going to the soup? I mean, I know people are busy and it's difficult to kind of incorporate that into everyday life, but it's important to go and like choose fresh, right? To go and choose this ingredient. This is what I'm going to do today. I'm not going to buy for like 20 days because there you're eating 20 days of food. Why would you want to do
Keep
that?
it fresh. Yeah.
You know, like people doing like the blue zone, Mediterranean diet. I grew up in the Mediterranean. So this is, you know, we used to do like that. But I understand it's difficult sometimes and with the work and everything.
So they say, you know, not all calories are the same. So a lot of people are just counting calories, but the quality is far greater versus the quantity. Can you give us some light into that?
So yeah, calories in, calories out is a really old mindset. I understand that with somebody who really has like issues, to start with this, okay, I'm just going to cut off the portions in which I guess you will cut off the calories would be easy way to approach the food, but it's not sustainable because apple and one gummy bear, it is not the same. So you have to understand what are you doing. You have to nourish your body. This is only thing you have to think about it is this what I'm gonna eat gonna give me nutritional value to my body, to my mind, to my brain? What am I eating? What am I eating and why? So you need to go for the good fats. You need to go for a good protein. You need to go for that fiber. And not to obsess with how many calories this salad has.
Absolutely. And, you know, what are some of the main nutritional deficiencies that you're seeing with children? Or what should we add more of in our diets?
What I see is intestinal dysbiosis in everybody. So it's that beneficial bacteria in the gut and overgrowth of the naughty bacteria. So what we should add, magnesium and the B vitamins. I see that a lot, magnesium and the B vitamins. What kind of food to eat? Again, whole foods.
Whole food, yeah.
Whole foods. Go for a good source of, everybody loves carbs, you know.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I always say, don't carb up because you're going to end up like hungry in 30 minutes. Go for a good amount of protein. By your choice, go for a grass-fed because you are what you eat and what you ate.
The quality.
So you need to understand what you eat. Like, for example, Wagyu beef, you know, yes, it's soft and it tastes buttery and all, but it's the worst thing you can possibly eat. Like, not the worst, but it's not really the best choice of meat. Okay. So go for the grass-fed. Go for the little farms that will give you, you know, good butter and good vegetables and fiber and a little bit of carbs. So just to have a balanced meal.
Yeah, I was actually listening to an endocrinologist, and he was saying, you know, in terms of microbiome, it's so important to get that diversity, almost 30 vegetables a week. So having that diversity, eating the rainbow in a sense of, you know, just the micronutrients is so important, right?
And people usually eat always the same.
Yeah. What do you do with picky eaters who only want that one vegetable that's their favorite?
So I would maybe hide it somewhere. You know, I would hide it in let's say a muffin. I used to do that actually. I used to do carrot and zucchini and I used to do that ages ago. But they didn't see it and they like it. And then you kind of put the vegetables in the food that they like. For example, if you would do something with rice, like a stew, you would add a little bit, not visible. And then when they're okay with that, you just add on, you know, add on. And then what to do, you eat it. Because, for example, I eat fermented food. I eat from Top Chili. I actually love his product. So I eat a lot of fermented foods. I actually like the taste. I didn't always like it. But my son is looking at me like this, and he's looking at this red cabbage, and he's like, what is that? So he's curious. He's curious, what am I eating?
It's on the table.
It's on the table.
Like my son loves kimchi.
There you go. And then maybe he will not try it that day, but he will try it one day. For example, fermented ginger. My daughter, she loves fermented ginger because I was eating. So what you can do if they don't want, you eat it.
Yeah.
You eat it, and don't give I'm not saying not to give too much option, but if you have always something, a snack that's going to cover, no, I don't want, they will know there's a bad food cushion to fall on, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like to say, we used to do like this, we used to do like that. But again, we're coming to this family eating. You have a family food. You have a family lunches, family dinners. This is what we eat tonight.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's really starting at that 1%. You have that awareness, small steps, but every day, shifting it that 1%, and you'll see a dramatic change in your family diet over the course of the year.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we are also hosting a workshop together where she's going to talk about how to manage today parenting, difficulties, challenges, and what are some options and tips and tricks that parents can take.
Yeah, bringing together the mindfulness on the plate and the mindfulness in the day, and how we structure that in our homes and in our work life.
Yeah. So hope to see you there.
Yeah.
As Ramadan is approaching, this is truly a beautiful opportunity, not just to fast from food, but to detox your body, your mind, and your energy in a much deeper and more intentional way. Fasting, when done properly, it's one of the most powerful natural reset mechanisms we have. But the key is not only fasting itself, it's how we fast, what we choose to nourish our body during the eating window. Ramadan gives us a unique rhythm. Periods to rest, reflection, and fasting, followed by a window where the body is highly receptive to nutrients. When we align the right nutrition with the window, we can support digestion, energy levels, mental clarity, and overall balance throughout the month. What many people don't realize is that each body responds differently. Your needs for macronutrients like proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, and micronutrients like vitamins and minerals are highly individual. Through bioresonance scan, we can assess how your body is currently at this time and period responding to different nutritional inputs and where it might be experiencing stress or imbalances. This gives us insight in how your system is coping and what it may need more or less during Ramadan. Based on this, you can receive a personalized nutritional approach designed to support you throughout the month. The intention is simple: to help you truly use Ramadan as a month of renewal, a time where fasting becomes supportive, nourishing, and aligned with your body rather than something you just get through. When approached correctly, Ramadan can be a powerful reset physically, mentally, and energetically.